Hello, my name is Swami. Swami isn't so much my name, but it's a title. A Swami is a designation for a person who's a renunciate, who's given up basically the seeking after worldly pleasures to dedicate themselves to the ministry. So you should call me Swami or refer to me as Swami from here on out. I'm going to be doing a tarot reading with stones, amongst other types of objects here on the United States for 2021. These cards were all pulled right at the first of the year, and I'm just now going to be reading them. Lots been going on. Mainly, well, for those of you who are experienced readers, I'll show you. I'm using the Osho Tarot, Osho Neo Tarot. These are out of print now, and they talk about, they've got like parables from all different kinds of religions in them, several different, the Zen Buddhists, monks, Hinduism, Christianity. They borrow from traditions that are widely known around the world. Even there are some Islamic and Muslim references in here to Sufis. A Sufi is an Islamic mystic. A yogi, which I am a yogi, is a Hindu mystic. And in Christianity, they don't really have a designation for a mystic, but you can check out Christian Mysticism by Yogi Ramacharaka. I think you could probably get that book on Amazon still, but it's called Christian Mysticism. The mystics in the Christian faith, or with Catholics, would probably be the Jesuits. And so a person who is a mystic is a person who has spiritual gifts. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. So that's hearing, seeing, feeling, not in that order. And there are a few more. I'm also going to be using this deck here, and this person is the Suruti. These are Dreams of Gaia, actually. There's the Dreams of Gaia tarot cards right here. So if you're curious about what it is that I'm reading from, I've also got a bowl here full of stones with different words on them. There's other different things in there as well. A bag of stones, rocks, and other things, objects that I've collected for over 30 years. And I'm also using the angel cards, the little angel cards. So this is a way that a person can get a very thorough reading, and I don't want to take any chances of missing something, because this is for all of us who live here in the United States and possibly even the rest of the world, if they're interested in the goings on here, which most people are. So what I have here are some Osho Neo Tarot, and I usually pull 3 here. And then down below I pull 3. And as I go through, it tells a story. And right now, what I'm seeing is we've got this blank card. Excuse me, my glasses are a little bit dirty. So as you get older, you need to really be cognizant of your eyes are probably not going to be that great. And I've been doing this for probably, I was a child mystic, had prophetic dreams as a very young child. I am a walk-in. I walked into this body when I was 8 years old. And so I've pretty much been a mystic, even as the old person in myself, which is Swami, which is why I don't really refer to my birth name, because I don't really feel like it really matches who I am, although I have not changed it. And so I've been on this path studying mysticism since the age of 12, and that was in 1970, since I started studying. There are a lot of walk-ins coming in, and basically I'm here. I got here early so that I could help the new walk-ins to sort of acclimate and you know, get, ground and sort of figure out what their purpose here is. So getting back to the reading, now that I can see something, I've got this practicality path. There's the path of spirit, and there's the practical path here where you're following the earth, and there's the wizard here is looking to the sky, and it's upside down, it's inverted. And I've also got an angel card here that's blank, and this tells me that the United States, that's a 25 is 7. 7 is a transcendent number 1. And this is just like it, I just think this is so impressive, because you've got the blank angel card, you've got the United States that doesn't know which way to go. So they don't know whether to follow a more internal spiritual path, or they don't know whether to follow a very practical path. Biden is, I think, still trying to find his feet. I think he's not really sure yet. Maybe he was even thinking that he'd probably lose, so he wasn't. It's kind of like, oh, I actually won this, so I actually have to do this. And that's kind of the energy that I pick up off of him right now. And that's fine, because, no, I don't think anybody really knows that they're going to become the president. But this could have something to do with government. We'll find out as we flush out the reading. But it's also the people of the United States. There's a big spiritual awakening. There are a lot of people who are probably, Republicans who are sticking with a more practical religious path. In this country, and when you practice Christianity, I'm a Christian mystic, by the way, but when you practice Christianity, it's got all these rules that you have to follow it exactly. So it almost becomes a construct. And yes, it is dogma, but it is a construct, and it helps these followers of Christianity to stay within the lines. So, like when you're a little kid and you color between the lines. They don't want you to color outside of the lines. Okay. Just so funny. When you're a mystic, there are no lines. When you're a mystic, you're free to be what you want, who you want, and you can tap into the universal forces, the Akashic records, to find out what it is you're here for. Because none of us feels like we belong here, but we are here and we do have a purpose. But getting back to this, the United States is going through this. They're deciding whether to follow this rigid, practical path, or should they go with the path of heart, like Drumville Melchizedek talks about, and the Native Americans, that we have to start living from a place of the heart. But what I say is, you have to have a balance, right? You got to balance your practicality with your spirituality or your heart. Because your heart can take you to all kinds of crazy places if you're not grounded and if you're not clear, if your mind isn't clear, which most people are in that state. So we need to find something that's going to be grounded. I had a client come to me one time. She said, I have stage 1 cancer. I want you to fix me. I said, look, I can do a lot of work for you with vibrational healing and Reiki. I could do a lot of, in life coaching, I could do a lot of work for you, but why don't you just go get the surgery and have the tumor removed? And she's like, oh no, I don't want to. I wanted to do it the spiritual way, and I just want to prove. And I'm just like, shut it down, because we have medicine for a reason. They are hackers. They go in and they hack and slash, and most of them don't know what they're doing. But if they can help you with getting the tumor out, then you can be healed. So again, this is another example of the practical path versus the mysterious path of looking at determining everything from lightning strikes. And you see with this card, we've got the lightning is there, and the wizard is trying to read the sky, and this guy's like, well, I need to follow the path. He doesn't know which way to go. And this is blank. This is fun for me because we don't know. That means it's not been determined yet. That nothing has been determined. Okay, and we just got this rock, patience. So we need to be patient with the United States of America because it is a young country and we're still trying to figure out what democracy is and what fascism is, and not to cross the lines between those two. The next here I have Osho. This is the Osho card with Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, who made these cards. Is Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh is his other name, and he was very famous up in, it was either Oregon or Washington. He had a huge commune, and then he kind of had a falling out with the IRS. But the guy's very spiritual. A lot of Osho worshipers and Osho followers here on the planet today, especially in the East, in India. But you see this key here. This is a lucky key. It used to be a key to an office I used to have in a different place. And this key tells me, and it's got the turquoise, which tells me that the United States is protected. And this key here over the Osho, and I just drop, when I get I drop them and see where they land. The key has fallen on Osho. So Osho is the #1 card in the Osho Neo Tarot deck. And Osho means the ultimate, it means enlightenment, it means the epitome of where we're all going. So the key to the United States succeeding is to focus more on the heart because we've been too practical. So it's a long-winded way of saying that, but I respect my viewers, and I know that my viewers, I assume that you're intelligent, and intelligent people have questions. And if you're a walk-in like myself, or you're a mystic and you don't know it yet, or you're trying to figure this out, it's really important that you have a little bit of the background. A lot of readers, they just read, and you're supposed to like accept everything they say, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Here I've got simplicity. See the simplicity? But this is upside down. I do want to point out that the Osho card is also upside down. We are not here yet. We are not enlightened yet. But the key is to go more toward enlightenment. And I think Joseph Biden, Biden is going to take us that route. He reminds me of Ward Cleaver. And if Ward Cleaver would get upset, he would go and he would take a walk. He didn't deal with his kids when he was very angry, and he really didn't get very angry. So we need to show gratitude, and the gratitude is upside down too. So right now we're keeping things really complicated, especially with this stimulus package, which is a lot of BS. They're just trying to figure out a way not to give us our stimulus. But so we're lacking simplicity, and we're lacking gratitude. And so these are the issues that our president and this country, the people of this country, or the mystics of this country who are here to help change things, are supposed to focus on. Gratitude, simplicity, and the key is to enlightenment. Here's an interesting stone here. As I say, I've been collecting these for like 30 years, but you see it's got layers. There's all these layers, and it's really, I don't know if I think it's petrified wood, but it's almost like more fossil than it is anything else. Actually, I think that's a type of, I don't know, but I do think it's maybe just a type of quartz. Even kind of looks like a geode without the rough, because they're tumbled stones. And this is where I go just like this, and then I go back up to the top, and I read just so. Now, here we've got this card from the Dreams of Gaia deck. Okay. And this, to me, is telling me that we've got the koi fish here and the water, you see? And it's almost got a little bit of a mermaid energy, see? And her third eye is open. And so, what we need to really focus on is peace. We need to focus on getting back to orange, the koi fish, which would be luck, which would also be related to feng shui. We need to get back to a more spiritual practice and a more spiritual focus. As we come up, and right here we also have, here's a green. This is just a quartz that's been dyed green, and a blue stone. And again, this was dropped here, and it just confirms that we need to focus on the crown chakra, which is blue, and, or not, this is purple, but we need to focus on the third eye, and she's got her third eye open here, and our throat chakra, which is our voice, our expression, and then we've got the green here, which is almost kind of an aquamarine color. And this woman's eyes are closed, and she is focused on meditation and grounding. And the orange, I just want to bring this up because I do like to deal with across the way every single reference. And orange is the second chakra. Orange is our sexuality. So maybe the path toward toward the future, one of the steps that we can take is to focus on meditation, focus on water energy, blue, aqua green, and also sex is very grounding. Whenever we've got a problem here with practicality, we don't know which way to go, that's because we're not grounded. We can't be enlightened unless we're grounded. You know, some people who fast and they don't eat meat, and they don't, and nothing against vegans, people who don't have sex, when you take the ascetic path, then you can become very ungrounded and unstable. But this orange here with the blue tells us that we need to focus on the second chakra, and also the voice, this chakra, the fifth chakra, and also our third eye. So we've got a nice balance of lower chakras and upper chakras. And again, this is just the balance between the practicality path or the mystical path, or the, he said, she said path, which doesn't have any validation. I am also a psychologist. But to just keep things in a very compartmentalized, balanced way, not going too crazy one direction or the other. This is a big problem with the United States. It's the comparison card. Okay? And this is a 26, which is an 8. And 8 means money in numerology. And the way this comparison goes, you've got a Buddha creature, a monk, who's talking to a samurai. And the samurai comes to the monk and he says, please help me. I'm comparing myself to other people and I'm feeling very insecure about myself. And so the monk takes him out to the woods and he shows him, well, this tree doesn't compare itself to this tree. This tree does this and this tree does this. Deciduous trees, the leaves change, things are different. This is a pine tree. The leaves don't shed unless they don't get enough water, and then they stay, and one is tall and one is short. And this is kind of a picture of the whole nation, okay? We've got a nation full of selfie-addicted wannabe celebrities, and the biggest problem is narcissism, I think, in the United States. Europe obviously is very narcissistic, and Putin and Russia and, France, they don't like anybody. So that's them, but it's infected the United States. And everybody's doing selfies and everybody's doing all this stuff, and it's focused on me, me, me. And they're not focused on their third eye. They're not focused on balance. They're just focused on materialism and things that aren't going to bring them here. But what you have to do, if you are having a problem with insecurity, like 90% of the people in this country, the president who just left was very insecure. We could see what that would do to a person. You have to do your astrology, do your numerology. I don't care if you believe in it or not. There's a really good website called Celebrities Galore, and you can get a free numerology. And you find out about you. You learn about you. And then you pray or set an intention to accept yourself, no matter how that is. And if you're some force of nature that has to go out and make waves and make trouble and all that stuff, then just accept that about yourself. If you're an angry person, then just accept that about yourself. If you're a spiritual person, then don't run away from it. And if you have people in your life who are invalidating you, then I would just get away from those people because they're toxic. I myself, every time I go to a new level of spirituality and knowingness of myself, I have to step away to some people in my life who are toxic. And that could even be family members, which recently, yes, I had a death in the family, and I'm seeing a bunch of, sort of energy from people, and I'm just like, you know what, I don't have time for this. I focus on my path, I focus on my ministry, and my students, my clients, and I'm okay with me. And the reason for this being in the reading is for all of us to just practice acceptance of ourselves. Stop comparing yourself to all the other women who have smaller asses and bigger boobs or, whatever, better noses. Just focus on yourself and be exactly who and what you came here to be. And if we can, as a nation, do this, then we can help steer the nation. And I am talking about the 100 monkey theory. If you don't know it, then look it up. But the 100 monkey theory, if enough of us becomes enlightened, focuses on enlightenment, because this is inverted, and this is blocking our money flow right here. You see that? If you're trying to make money as a social, what the hell do they call those people? Influencer. I'm sorry, I think that's hilarious. A social influencer. If that's what you are, and that's what your path is, you're not going to make any money until you accept yourself. There's a really funny lady on Instagram called Celeste Barber, I think her name is. And she sees somebody who's extraordinary doing like models a lot of times, and she mimics them, but she makes it really funny, and she kind of brings it down to a grounded level. And Celeste is very popular because she has accepted herself. It's obvious that she's comfortable in her own body. She's comfortable with what she's doing, and she's a happy person, and that's contagious. And so that's the way this whole nation needs to go, is to stop comparing ourselves to France and England and the UK, all these other countries. Well, Germany's doing this. Well, who the hell cares what Germany's doing? So we need to be our own thing, and we need to not focus on other people, or in this case of the samurai, different trees. And then money will flow. Here's a 10. That 10 is a cycle of completion. If we do this, do the practicality path, do the enlightenment path, follow the balance of the lower chakras and the higher chakras, the groundedness, which is red, which I don't have red here, but this is red. So that influences the root chakra, which is survival. But with all of these paths, if we do all of this homework, I like to call it, then we'll reach this card. And that is beautiful. No, I don't adhere to typical tarot definitions, because I have knowledge that they're incorrect. So you have to, I teach this psychic sciences, and the best way to read a tarot card is to see how it's speaking to you, kind of like John Edward when he's doing a reading for people. His angels and guides will give him words or images that are personal to him, that apply to whomever he's looking at. And I always pray, and I surround myself with angels and archangels before I do a reading. This is the path of the High Priestess. We've got a turtle represented here. We've got the third eye represented, except it's being represented in a red, orange color. And we've got the heart of spirit above, probably somewhere around the 9th or 10th, the 8th to the 10th chakra. Again, you can reference Drumble and Melchizedek for that. We've got the path of the maiden, the mother, and the crone here. And that is paganism, and that's represented. So we need to embrace, this is going to be how we end up. It'll probably end up being more matriarchal. I hope this doesn't mean that something will happen to Joe. I pray every day that Joe will be safe. But we do have a female vice president, so it's possible that at some point Kamala may have more of an influence, but Kamala would have to be the person that brings in this maiden, mother, and crone. This is a woman who's secure in herself, who's on the path that she was created to do. And it's lovely. She's lovely. I know that Kamala is part Indian and African American, and those are both very spiritual peoples. I don't know what she believes, but this would be, even if you on your own path follow this, you're going to end up as a type of high priestess, maybe a hierophant, and you can look those up. And so this is where it's going to come down, and the 10 represents the end. So the answer, at least for the end of this year, we could finish this year on a really high note of an enlightened United States, an enlightened America, who is practicing all of these things that I've discussed. And you can roll the tape back if you don't remember some of it. Take notes. Feel free to do that if you like. And that's going to be the answer. But we have a few more cards here. This is a sketchy card here. That's a 7. 7 means we're going to transcend it. This whole practical, mystical path, that's transcendence. 7 is transcendence. It means no matter what, we're going to transcend this. We're going to get beyond it. This is the mind. The mind is about a guy who fell asleep and he woke up in maybe a dream. I'm guessing he was probably in a dream. Maybe in the astral world, he was doing it out of body. And he woke up and he found himself being very hungry. He was sitting under a tree. And he saw this food. This food immediately appeared in front of him. And he thought, oh, wow, I'm so hungry. I'm just going to eat this. And so then he ate all the food. And it was the most delicious food he'd ever eaten. And then he was thinking, oh, I'm so thirsty. And then a carafe of wine and a glass appears before him. And he drinks the wine. And he's satisfied. He's been fed. He's drank. He's probably got a good buzz. And he's feeling pretty good. But then some people can't handle their alcohol. So he says, oh no, what world am I in? What has happened to me? This is not normal, that I'm getting food appearing before me and wine appearing before me. Oh my gosh, what if I die? What if something terrible happens to me? And then in come the ghosts. And so he's manifested ghosts instantaneously, which tells me that the United States and all of us in the United States are manifesting things very quickly. The energies are speeding up, okay? The first day of the year was a 1, and then you've got 2021, so you've got 3 ones in there. You've got the 2s and the 1s, and the 2s and the 1s, if you are following your angel numbers, when you see 3 or double digits like 221 or 222 or 111, and you keep looking those up every day, you see your angel numbers and you see the messages that your angels are trying to give you. I know I drink with a straw, so you know, don't hate me. It's just what I have to do. So when you become too focused on the fear, then you're going to manifest more fear. If you become focused on abundance, then you're going to have more abundance, and so on and so forth. If you focus on negative things, like this country, we need to focus on positive things, and I think Biden is going to do that for us. I think he's going to be positive. He's going to try to stay positive. He's got that Ward Cleaver energy, and if you've ever watched Leave It to Beaver, yes, I'm dating myself, but I really don't care. Ward Cleaver would always take a walk, and he'd think about it. And with Ward Cleaver in charge, I think that he's, going to focus on the things that this country needs to focus on. Because this guy here, he died. He had the ghosts, he manifested the ghosts, and then boom, he's in a coffin. He died. He bit it. But the lesson here is compassion. Okay? We have to learn the lesson of compassion, and maybe that has to do with the border. Maybe that has to do with the, immigration. Maybe it has to do with finally giving the American people a stimulus that you keep promising. Thank you very much. And stop dawdling and him-hawing around. And then we could experience a better outcome. But this card is right side up. So this could spell doom for the United States, or it could spell something amazing. I mean, with all of these cards of what the lessons we're going to be learning, and people who are ultra religious and dogmatic, I think this year is going to really bite them with a lot of karma, because, you know, there's a lot of projection of their own issues onto other people, wanting to control people, wanting people to not be gay or not be promiscuous or not be, you know, fill in the blank of whatever they feel like today they want to thrust upon us in their, you know, judgments of us, which quite frankly ridiculous 99.9% of the time. And if they're in the mind, they could manifest a lot of pain for themselves, because if you wish somebody dead, guess what, buddy? You could die. So if they're wishing a lot of evil on people, and the United States is in this 1122 sort of energy and the zeros, okay, that's the end of the cycle. That's Kali Yuga possibly. That's Hinduism. You could check that out on your own. But they could manifest some real pain for themselves, and as well spiritual people and narcissistic people, and you name it. Whatever your flavor is, there's a positive side of it and there's a negative side of it. And what did we talk about before? Practicality, finding the balance between the root, the sacral chakra, and the blue, and the third eye, and the spirituality, and stop comparing ourselves to people. And we're going to have to really download really hard. It does say we'll transcend this. But there's strength in numbers, people. And if you've got a bunch of spiritual people who are who don't adhere to any one religion or another, then we need to get busy. You know, manifesting, meditating, creating. I have shamanic burning bowls in the town that I live in, and we do pagan holidays about every 6 weeks. We're about to do an Imbolc meditation. We do that, and we set intentions for the year, the way we'd like to see things going with our country, and we did it last year, and a lot of that stuff from last year came true. Because Jesus said, wherever there are 2 or more people together, there I am with you also. So this is my practice. I'm like, okay, you're from this tradition, you're from this tradition. People are from different traditions, and they're bringing that wisdom to the circle, the group, and then we're all putting our intentions in a bag with offerings. We don't do animal or anything like that offerings. Everything's very vegan and very nice and very friendly, and incense and flowers and dried flowers. And we work together to intend what we want for the year. And we need to get busy. Spiritual people all over the globe, if you care about the United States, then get busy manifesting goodness for the United States, because someday you may be a citizen of the United States. Okay? The people who are living here, who are being lazy, they don't know what to do, you're unfocused, you're ungrounded, you can't figure out, nothing you do works, every job you get fails, then maybe that's a path that's telling you that you're a shaman. And shamans are indigenous to every country in the world. Japan has shamans, China, all the Asian countries, Russia has their shamans, all of Europe has shamans, Native Americans have shamans, medicine men, medicine women. In Mexico, you've got the brujas and the brujos, and they've got their shamanism practice. And Christians have their shamans also, but they tend to have a little bit more of a pagan flavor to them, like a Christian pagan. So they're also working with the moons, the moon cycles, the holidays. We've got Imbolc coming up, which is also St. Bridget's Day, and you can study that on your own. but we all come together and we intend. And this is what we as a country, as a nation, need to focus on. If you're Catholic, have rosary groups where you have a bunch of people come over, have a potluck, get some wine, get some desserts, and have fun, and then sit there and pray the rosary together with an intention. That would be like the most amazing manifestation group, and where they set the intentions of what they're going to do the rosary for. You've got I can't remember the sect of Buddhism that a lot of people are practicing now, where they literally kneel on the ground and they chant. They chant for whatever, a new car. And they sit there and they chant. And then here comes, guess what, this new car. This is all about this mind card, about controlling. We can't control everything, but we can even control the thoughts that we have. But we can practice with meditation to let go of the negative thoughts, and you can put intentions on the wall. I've got a big word back here on the wall of peace, because I like peace. I'm an Aspie. I have ADHD, and so I can't stand being around a lot of noise and disturbances. So I have this big word peace, that's what I demand in my office and in my home. And so you have control, okay? You have control over your life more than you believe. And unfortunately, if there are things in your life that you're not happy with, you need to kind of come to the conclusion that you did help create that on some level, even though you did it out of ignorance. I mean, when Jesus died, he said, forgive them, for they what? They know not what they do. They're a bunch of freaking idiots. Okay, masculine, feminine. Okay, this is inverted. Man, this reading is just kicking our ass. This is an ass-kicking reading, literally. Everybody's squirming out there. The masculine and the feminine. Again, this is Dreams of Gaia. This is the fire element, okay? And we've got the earth element represented. We've got the spiritual element. We've got a lot of water, which represents spirituality. And this mind is etheric. It's more manifesting. And here's the fire. This is transgender acceptance, people. You don't like transgendered people? Well, tough titty said the kitty, because guess what? When you start to meld your male and your female aspects, which I've done, you have more of a blended energy. Androgynous. I've always been androgynous. I love it. I couldn't accept that for a while because I was participating in the world of marriage and what the church tells you that you have to do. I used to be in the ministry in the Christian church, and you have to adhere to all these rules and do all these things. And they told me, well, you have to have babies. If you're not having babies, then you shouldn't be in the ministry. And I'm like, oh wow, bye-bye. So I left the ministry and I became a yogi and a shaman, and I'm much happier now. But I'm manifesting the things that I want rather than the things that I don't want. And so the path works. But this masculine feminine, this tells you that the United States is sitting here thinking men should be men, men should be men, and women should be women, and feminism sucks, and women don't have power, and misogyny rules, and gay people suck. Those kind of people are not going to be very happy, because this is where this nation is going, and I don't know why this card came out when I pulled it from the deck, because when I do a deck reading, I shuffle them very well, and I pull it out, and I don't see what's there. But this masculine feminine thing, this is transgender, this is spirituality. It doesn't mean LGBTQ whatever. It doesn't mean that necessarily, but it can mean that. Okay, so I wear a sarong on the bottom, and I like, you see I've got my little necktie, and I like all my stuff, and I've got lots of jewelry. So I like the blending of the feminine and the masculine. And the Bible says when you go out, put on the full armor of God. And what is your full armor? The Bible also talks about holiness. I'm a Christian minister. What does your holiness look like? When you go out of your house, do you look like every other Tom, Dick, and Harry, Jane, whatever? Or when people see you, can they know that, oh wow, that's a spiritual person? If I needed help right now, that's going to be my spiritual fireman. That's going to be my spiritual policeman, God forbid. But that's going to be my spiritual teacher. So we need to be authentic in our presentation of ourselves to the world. And this is how we find each other. When I go out to the grocery store, people take a look at me and they're like, damn, I know she can help me. I've got my amber beads on here. I've got my pearls. I've got all of my stones of protection and turquoise and onyx and amethyst and ruby, citrine, all of this. People can take one look at me and know, oh wow, that's a healer, that's a shaman. I think I might be able to get help from her. And so they approach me, and then I can give them a business card, and then we can get their training off the ground or whatever. This is very important here. This is inverted. It's expectancy. Okay? Oh, God, this is just amazing. And courage. Okay? Just in this order, it was like this. And they're both inverted, which means we're a bunch of freaking idiots and we don't have our crap together yet. I know it's really hard because I like to cuss and I can't cuss. So anyway, courage and expectancy. And this. You get that? You got to have courage to be who you are, masculine, feminine, sex change operation. Whatever it is you feel that's going to help you to find you, you have to do that. And the universe is expecting it. You see that? Expectancy. So all you earth angels can't figure out what your gender is. Maybe it's because you're an angel, and angels really don't have any genders. Did you ever think about that? Probably not. Again, we've got this sort of, I don't know what kind of a stone it is, but it's got the sky blue shade, okay? So you've got fire, okay? You've got yellow here from the sacral chakra. You ever watch the martial arts movies when the Zen master or the martial arts master has all this power coming out of his stomach? That's your solar plexus, okay? You've got the red of the fire, but you got it tempered here with this rock of aqua color. And then you've got, again, the orange color, that's a quartz, of the sacral chakra or sex. Sex is very grounding. If you're a very spiritual person and you're not having sex, then you need to do other things to stay grounded. Cussing is very grounding because it's a negative thing. Eating meat is very grounding, even if you just stick to seafood and whatnot. But if we don't dig our heels into the earth and ground to the earth and get out in the earth and put your feet in the grass and ground, then your spirituality is going to be out of control. And there are people like that. There's some really airy-fairy kind of people and auspicious good fortune, and all they talk about is this spirituality, and it's all about that, and they don't eat anything, and they're starving, and they don't have sex, and it's all very control. It's just another type of religion when you do that. When you act ultra spiritual, and you can't cuss, and you can't be normal, and you can't, have a glass of wine, or you can't throw back a glass of whiskey. I'm not talking to alcoholics. I'm assuming that I'm not speaking to alcoholics or people who suffer from substance abuse. I'm referring to people who are not uptight, because uptight people cannot become spiritual. Their spirituality is BS. I just had a recent conversation with a family member, I'm not going to say who, and I was telling her about, oh wow, I've been taking this Meso Gold. The Meso Gold is really amazing because it helped me to get some extra clarity. It made me smarter. And so you do get a little bit irritated because you start to get smarter, and then you start realizing you're surrounded by stupid. And so you have to learn compassion. You have to learn patience. Okay. And then I was able to tap into my guardian angel more. I work with Archangel Gabriel personally, and I am an aspect of Archangel Michael, and I have been working with Michael since I walked in. So if I seem a little bit of a strong personality, it's because of that, Michael and Gabriel. But Gabriel is the writer, he's the poet, he's the musician, he is the patron saint of creative people. And creative people, this whole reading is directed toward creative people. Because I do not see in here people who are attorneys and doctors and really uptight people. I don't see them even giving a care about any of this, and you know what I mean, or rats, you know what. And so they're not going to care about any of or us. So it's up to us to make the change because of 100 Monkey Theory. And I really hope that you will go find out what 100 monkeys are. I'm going to draw these stones today, see where they fall. Okay, this is a blank. You see, this stone is blank. There's nothing written on it, which means that the whole mind thing and what United States is going to create for itself this year, who the hell knows? It's like, woo! You know, we could be in the toilet by the end of the year with this card in the reading, and it's even upright. So we are in trouble. People need, oh my God, this is like unbelievable. This is like unheard of. I only have, I think, 2 blank stones in the whole bowl. And here's a blank stone that fell here on the Osho card, which is the key. Spirituality, simplicity, gratitude. This is up in the air. But this is also good news because it means the pattern is not set. It means the pattern is fluid, and like a calm pond, all we have to do is start throwing stones in it of what we want. Like Deepak Chopra in the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, he talks about dropping your intention in the pool of pure potentiality. Blank stones, mind, spirit, blank means pool of potential, pool of pure potentiality. And then this angel card is blank. Remember, that's the trifecta. And that's never happened in any reading I've ever done. So, if we get busy and we focus, like I'm doing this YouTube video, I do not like doing YouTube videos. This isn't my thing. I don't like any of this. But Spirit has told me that I have to do this, and if I have to get on YouTube and knock some heads, that's what I'll do, because my angels are never wrong. And I must follow what my angels dictate to me. Otherwise, I'm not going to be, I'm going to be a hypocrite. And I don't want to be a hypocrite, so pray for me that I'll continue to make more videos, because this is a pain in the ass. And so I hope you effers are grateful. We've got the amethyst here. Gabriel just said to pull one of these. This is cool. This looks like it's a stone. I don't know what it is. If you polished it, it could be hematite maybe. But it looks like a little, a canteen. It looks like a little canteen. It fell on the comparison card. We've got amethyst, which is the crown chakra. This little geode looking thing here. Okay, that's crown chakra. And you've got tiger's eye here on simplicity. So that tells me you pack a canteen because you're going on a trip. Maybe you're coming to where I am so that you can take some classes. I don't know. Anyway, we've got this here. This is a liver. This looks like a liver to me. It makes me think about a liver. It could mean groundedness. It fell by the mind card, which is entertaining because the mind card had the wine in it, if you remember. So, you know, drink in moderation. Don't be alcoholic. Don't do drugs and stuff like that to the point that it makes you stupid and you get possessed by a demon, because when you do so much substance and you get wasted at a bar, then spirits can get right down in your crown chakra and make you do stuff you don't want to do. And then you're going to jail and you're like, what? I don't remember. Okay, so this tells me that we need to temper, okay, substance. There's nothing wrong with drinking, imbibing, you know, doing whatever it is you do. I'm not the police. But you need to do it in moderation. That's beautiful. This reminds me of like a little a little doorway. You see that? Is that gorgeous? It's like blue, and it's like got this doorway in it. And that fell here on this priestess. It's like a, you see? So basically, we're talking about being spiritual. This definitely tells me about meditation and stepping into the door of your own destiny. And on that, I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I'm Swami, and I wish you a very prosperous and happy year. And because you deserve it, and you deserve to be everything that you are, and you deserve for stupid people to keep their opinions to themselves. Have a nice day.